Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coronavirus and the Independent Retailer, episode number 32. I'm your host, Bob Nagan, and as always, I am really, truly grateful that you're giving me your time today. Again, as always, congratulations. We are one day closer to the end of this thing. Nobody knows when the end of this thing will be, but we are one day closer. It will end, it will change, and we are one day closer. So, at some level, it's just stay with it, baby, one day at a time, one day at a time. So today we're going to talk about a concept, the emotional bank account, and how to use that to lock down your customers. I believe that in the post-pandemic world, one of the things that you as an independent retailer, brick and mortar independent retailer, need to do is lock down your current customer base. Make sure that they don't go anywhere else. But before we do that, I want to complain. And if you agree with my complaints, give me some likes and loves. I want to complain about my hair. Now, it doesn't look like I have very much hair, but I have a rule when it comes to grooming, in that if I wake up and I have bedhead, it's time for a haircut. Well, you should see my hair in the morning, and I'm an old guy with not very much hair. I can't even imagine what it must be like I know Susan, but Susan's got that beautiful curly hair. I mean, it's just crazy. Walmart's saying that the newest hoarding is hair coloring and things like that. So I don't know about you, but hair is my annoyance, coronavirus annoyance of the day. So if you have any hair stories, by all means, please share them with us. You should see our son Sam, man. He's got kind of Susan hair, and it's just crazy, crazy, crazy. So anyway, I don't know. I just thought I'd share that with you this morning. The emotional bank account. So emotional bank account and locking your customers down. So the emotional bank account is a concept I learned in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you haven't read that book yet, I would strongly recommend that you do. It's a classic. If you've written it, if you've read it and you can endorse it, share that with us. But the concept is, for any relationship, whether it's with your children or your spouse or your friends, your team, it's a leadership concept, absolutely. But I took it and used it in marketing. The concept is, for every withdrawal, there should be 10 deposits. So when you think about your relationship with your customers, you need to put something into the relationship 10 times more than you ask for something out. So what that means is deposits would be a funny meme on social media, content-based live video, an email that gives them a solution to a problem, something that is entertaining, something that is distracting from the coronavirus, something that shares something about yourself. So 10 to 1. So a deposit is when you give them something. A withdrawal is when you ask them for something, namely money. And so that concept has driven the way that we market our business, that we teach marketing. This whole idea is that you're focused on giving, you're focused on building the relationship, because just like a regular bank account, the bigger the balance, the more that you can withdraw. So the more that you give, the more that you can ask for. My friend Chris Bykirk said it perfectly. Chris has since sold a kitchenware store in Logan, Utah. And he said it goes like this: recipe, 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 knife technique, recipe, recipe, cooking technique. Oh, I got a sale on Wusthof knives. Bring your butt in here. And that's really how it works. People who are unwise or not mature marketers just try to get money. What you want to do is give to get. Givers get. And so when we talk about marketing your business post-pandemic, we're talking about really, really focusing on adding value to the relationship so that your customers won't want to shop anywhere else. This is what I mean by locking them down. So our story, the Nagin family story, is very, very, very common in the world right now. Both the boys are taking gap years from college. Joe would be a junior at the University of Michigan. Sam would be a freshman at Montana State University, but they both decided to take gap years. They got a job, dream job, ski instructors at Whitefish Resort in Montana. They got a beautiful apartment. Well, it wasn't beautiful, but they got a great apartment for them. I mean, they were living their dream lives, right? And so they were supposed to wrap that up. In fact, we're supposed to be in Hawaii right now for, kind of a trip of a lifetime. Clearly that didn't work. But my brother-in-law, Susan's brother, is a scientist, and he's been talking about this pandemic. He was talking about it, and we're watching it because, he's a smart guy. And the boys were watching it. There was a family text group. And then all of a sudden, when it looked like things were going to be locked down, shelter in place, the boys literally packed up in one day and drove back from Montana to Michigan in 2 days. Why? Because they wanted to be safe. We wanted them to be safe. It was a lockdown, Okay, good. We're all here together. That's the first step. And, the same thing happens with you and your customers. Your customers aren't going to want to go and try new things. In the beginning, it's going to be about comfort and familiarity. The boys wanted to get home. Your family probably wanted to get home. Comfort, safety, and familiarity. That's really going to be really important when, this post-pandemic world. And so when you start to think about that, when you start to think about locking down your customers so that they don't ever even consider going someplace else. New store in town? Now that's all right. Right. I know that. Think about three things: safety, authenticity, and authority. Safety. If you can communicate to your customers what you're doing for safety, because they're already familiar with you, because you've built that emotional bank account, they will be a lot more likely to stay with you and not go anywhere else. Authenticity. People want to know you, like you, trust you, and know that you care about them. And that's what you want to do. This is your deposits, right? If you do live stream or Facebook Live shows, there's social selling, of course, but social selling is a deposit. When you give them information, doing social selling is a withdrawal. When you give them information, good information, helpful information, entertaining information, distracting information, all of that is a deposit. And when you do it from a place of authenticity, it will be so powerful. People, again, what do they want? They want comfort. They want safety. They want familiarity. And as you build the emotional bank account, that is a very, very real way to build the emotional bank account. And finally, authority. What does authority mean? People want to, I talked about like and trust. When you build authority and you tell your customers that something will be good for them, that will be helpful for them, will be a solution for them, they're more likely to buy it from you, aren't you? They're more likely to buy it from you. If you have a toy store and you have authority and you do a television show, a Facebook Live about the 5 best games for teenagers, if you've built that authority through building the emotional bank account, your customers are a lot more likely to buy from you. So what are we? Safety, authenticity, and authority. And so think about that for a moment. Your putting a lot of value back into the relationship. You're building the emotional bank account. But when you're doing that, you're not doing it willy-nilly. You're doing it to build authenticity and authority, safety, comfort. And if you're doing that correctly, that's how you lock them down. That's how you get their business. Because let's just face it, it's really uncertain out there right now, isn't it? I believe, I've been talking about this all the time. I believe this is a tremendous opportunity. I believe that there's going to be a lot less stores a year from now. I believe that department stores are going to start to fall, and when department stores fall, malls are going to start to fall. I believe that mediocre mid-sized chains are going to start to fail, and when they do, the centers, the shopping centers that they're part of, will start to, diminish in importance. And that leaves us as small to mid-size independent brick and mortar retailers ready to sit there and pick up that business, lifetime value of a customer. So it's all going to be really uncertain. There's going to be a lot of opportunities, but your biggest opportunity, your best opportunity, your surest opportunity is to lock down the customers you already have. I just can't say it strongly enough. That your customers are not going to feel adventurous is my guess. That they're going to want to go where they know. It's like Cheers. They want to go where somebody knows their name. Authenticity, safety, and authority. Just stay focused on that and keep building that emotional bank account. And I think, I just think that is the foundation of your marketing efforts in this post-pandemic world. Lifetime value of your current customers, more transactions per customer. So, something to think about. If you like this, if you agree with the way that I'm thinking, that A, marketing is going to be entirely different a year from now, 6 months from now, than it was pre-pandemic, and that B, that, being on top of your marketing game is more important now than ever, because we don't know what's happening, and marketing is what connects us to the money. And C, that that you love your customers. You want to do right by them. You want to add a lot of value to them. If that's the way that you feel about, if you agree with me, I want to strongly encourage you to, if you're in the Retail Marketing Club, be there live today. 3 o'clock, be there live, because there's always really, really great interaction. Susan does an amazing job on chat. People share great ideas. So I know a lot of people are members of the Retail Marketing Club and catch it as a replay, but this is a super important one. We're going to really, really talk about post-pandemic marketing today. And if you're not a member of the Retail Marketing Club, I would strongly encourage you to join. Susan, will you put a link in the chat?
I'm doing it right now.
All right. So I would strongly encourage you to join. Last month, and the video is still up, we talked about the retail marketing, the whiz-bang retail marketing system, and we put it in the context of the pandemic. But so much has changed, even in a month, hasn't it? It's really we're starting to get a feel for what it's going to be like, what the challenges are, what the opportunities are, and that's what we're going to discuss today. Here on this podcast, we talk about marketing. On Whiz-Bang Retailers, we talk about marketing. But on the Marketing Club, in the Marketing Club meetings, we put it all into a package. It's a presentation with feedback, and it's incredibly valuable. In fact, if you're watching this and you are a member of the Retail Marketing Club and you wouldn't mind giving us a shout out, in the comments section, that would be appreciated. It's only $29 a month. You can cancel at any time. It's the best value in retail education anywhere. End of story, period. So, again, don't need to, of course, but if you're ready to get a lot wiser, to gain perspectives on what it's going to be like after the pandemic, I'd appreciate it. Be there, join, be part of it. It's awesome. All right. Well, if you found this helpful, I would appreciate your shares. I would appreciate if you'd share the love. You know, we're doing all we can to build this community, so this community is stronger and better and more resilient, so that we share more ideas, so that we all, you know, again, I'm going to say it again, small to mid-sized independent brick and mortar retail stores, I think the opportunities are absolutely amazing for us in this post-pandemic world. And the bigger the community, the more wisdom, more ideas that is shared, the better. So that's that. Hope you found it helpful. Today at 1 o'clock, we're having a community forum where and that's absolutely free, of course, where you get a chance to ask Susan and I all of your questions. You get to share your best practices. And so if you're not doing anything at 1, we'd love to see you there live. Same channel. And the Retail Marketing Club's at 3. So anyway, full day today for the Nagin family. And we love you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.